Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Canadian Electricity Association's Conversation webinar series. Canadian Electricity Association is the voice of the electricity industry in Canada. My name is Farhan Mirza with the CEA, and I am pleased to be your host for today's webinar. The Conversation series features presentations from CEA's corporate partners, and the series will highlight a variety of Canadian and international solutions to current and future challenges faced by the industry. Working with CEA's corporate partners, these webinars have been developed to be of specific interest to those working in the electric utility space from generation through to the customer. For a list of upcoming sessions, check out CEA's website at www.electricity.ca. Before we get started, there are a few housekeeping items I'd like to go over. Our session today is scheduled to run from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Questions can be asked, and we would encourage you to do so as they come to mind by typing them into the chat function, and they will be asked at the end of the presentation. A brief survey will be sent to webinar participants following the session today, and we very much appreciate your candid feedback and are interested in hearing about any topics you'd like to have covered in future editions of the Conversation series. Please keep in mind our future webinars and events through CEA's monthly newsletter will be shared on current affairs. With over 6,000 subscribers, Current Affairs, much like the national newspaper, is the place to go for Canadian industry news as we connect the national value chain from generation through to the customer. If you would like to receive current affairs, you can subscribe to this free publication via CEA's website, again at electricity.ca. Today, Lexop will be presenting our webinar, and our topic is Past Due in 2021, New Expectations in Customer Care. In 2020, COVID-19 turned millions of Canadians' financial situations upside down. The need for a digital transformation to assist past due customers in several industries, including utilities, is more significant than ever. In today's session, we will share their 2021 nationwide research results on repayment preferences in the utility industry, amongst others, and compare their differences to the research from last year. They will then use the results to demonstrate how you can reevaluate customer care strategies to empathize and help past due customers in the recovery process. Our presenter today is Amir Tajkarimi, CEO and co-founder of Lexop. Amir, welcome to the Conversation series today, and we will now turn the webinar over to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for being here. We are live from sunny Montreal. It's 20 degrees and it's fantastic. You have a kick in your step when you walk to the office. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate it. Instead of having me twice, I'm just going to take off my camera so you can focus on the slide. So thank you. My name is Amir. For those who don't know me, I am the CEO and co-founder of Lexop. Today, we'll be taking a look at current issues in past due customer care and what we can do to fix them. Some of you already know this, but I was a banking and bankruptcy lawyer for about 8 years before starting Lexop, and I do apologize, nobody's perfect. And in the early years as an entrepreneur, I have to admit I was myself sometimes late on a few payments. I became what I know now is called a past due customer. That's when I realized how rigid, intrusive, and antagonizing the past due customer experience is. And fundamentally, this is what we're trying to change at Lexop. We're a SaaS solution designed for service providers and institutions to help them offer a humane approach to collection, but through technology. And I know it sounds ironic, but that's our mission. We believe in encompassing a humane approach to customer care, because something has been missing in the past due customer journey, which is customer centricity. Too often, the past due journey can lack empathy and understanding. On top of that, pardon me, COVID-19 has changed the world as we know it. The digital transformation of how we communicate and do business has been accelerated due to the pandemic. People's finances have changed and they need help getting through these difficult times. So this year, we conducted our annual survey on customer repayment preferences, and the results were quite revealing. Customer habits and expectations are still changing. So without further ado, here we go. Past due in 2021, new expectations in customer care. This webinar will present our 2021 nationwide research, the results on customers' repayment preferences, where we surveyed over 2,500 Canadians across all demographics. And we will compare some of the results to our 2020 research on the same subject, which was conducted just prior to the onset of the pandemic. We also conducted a similar survey specific to utility customers and their repayment preferences in 2021, and we'll present those findings as well. For that, we had over 1,500 respondents. We have 4 main segments to cover today. First, I'll be talking about what's changed since 2020, the impact of the pandemic, and how it will affect past due customer repayment ability in 2021. Second, we'll uncover what's changed in customer care in regards to communication and payment methods. Next, after uncovering all the changes, I will present what the new expectations in customer care in 2021 will be. And finally, how to adapt to meet current expectations. Now, throughout the webinar, I'll also be asking some poll questions to see if you can successfully predict some of the results of our survey questions. We'll see how much of experts you are. A lot has changed in the past year, but one important change is at the forefront. The shutdowns and economic implications following the spread of COVID-19 have left massive amounts of individuals unemployed. More and more consumers have become past due as their ability to pay their bills has decreased. In fact, almost half of the respondents, 44%, as you can see, said their payment ability has decreased in the past year. So what does this mean about their financial stability? Well, because past due customers are worried about when they will be able to pay their bills on time again, we asked when they believe they will be financially stable again. The results were very telling. Nearly 50% are still unsure when their financial situation will stabilize. In addition, our survey on utility customers revealed that 61% of respondents who have been contacted about a past due bill recently were past due in the last year as well. And more importantly, 57% stated being currently late on their utility bill. Because the current situation surrounding COVID and financial stability issues is not going to end soon, there is an urgent need for companies to adapt their approach in order to support customers in this difficult financial time. In order to figure out how we can adapt, we first must look at what practices are currently being employed in customer care and how they've changed the past year, and how we can understand those changes to create a better past due experience. So what's changed in customer care? How customers are and want to be contacted evolves as technology evolves, and a positive customer experience depends on aligning with customer needs. We compared the differences in our results from 2020 to 2021, and this brings us to our first poll question. In your opinion, in the past year, what has been the most common contact method used by companies to notify about a past due bill? So the most common contact method in the past year, what was the most common contact method used by companies? Oh, I see that the results. Okay, so we have phone. Wow, okay. The results are, everybody said phone. Past due customers are being contacted by phone and letter mail less in 2021, but it still accounts for 80% of all contact about past due payments. How much of a difference? 87% in 2020 versus 77% in 2021. This means that traditional communication methods have decreased, but they're still widely used. So good guess. Everybody gets a star. And we observed the exact same results from utility customer respondents. 73% of respondents reported being notified by phone or letter about their past due utility bill. Only 27% were contacted through digital channels, either by email or text message. So now that we've covered communication methods, what about payment methods? How customers make payments is changing drastically in our post-pandemic world, and it's important customer needs align with the options they get so that they have the best experience possible. Again, we compared the differences in our results from 2020 to 2021, which leads us to another poll question. In your opinion, in the past year, what has been the most common payment method used to pay past due bills? So in your opinion, what's the most common payment method used to pay a past due bill in the past year? Okay, by phone or online payments. Okay, that's pretty good. So, as a result of the accelerated digital transformation due to COVID, there was a huge jump in online payments between 2020 and 2021. To be exact, 37% in 2020, 68% in 2021. Online payments have increased exponentially in the past year due to the pandemic and everything shifting online as a result. But although online payments have risen, does this mean that customers have been able to keep up with payments due to the pandemic and the financial crisis? No, because as I mentioned before, late payments have been on the rise in 2021 due to an inability to pay. And according to our studies, they rose from 40% in 2020 to 61% in 2021. Respondents stated that their main reason for being late on payments were because they didn't have the money, or that's 40%, or they had unexpected expenses, 21%. And interestingly, an additional reason was because they forgot to pay their bills on time, which accounted for 22% of respondents. This confirms something else we preach at Lexop. A lot of customers don't pay on time, not because they're absolutely delinquents, but because they haven't been contacted or engaged in a way that suits them. There's a big opportunity out there for companies to contact and engage a low-hanging fruit segment, those who are most likely to self-cure. Knowing the situation is unlikely to change for some time due to the pandemic, there is a need to work with past due customers, not against them, to help them settle their accounts. In other words, there's a need for companies to meet new expectations in customer care. So what are the new customer expectations? This brings us to another poll question. In your opinion, what method of contact do you think customers prefer the most when they are past due? So what method do you believe email? 100%. Wow, that's good. This is different than last year. The results are much different. I love it. Very good. A vast majority stated they prefer to be contacted digitally by email and text message. So it's 53% email, 69 total, where if you consider electronic communication. And it's important to pinpoint that those percentage represents all demographic, except for individuals that are 77 years old and older. So knowing that almost every generation prefers digital contact, it's more urgent than ever to adapt communication style to reflect the current needs. So now, how did utility customers respond to the same question? The majority of utility customers want to be contacted by email or text messages as well. So that's over 69% if you consider email and SMS. This means utility customers are no exception, and there's an urgent need for industry to adapt as well. And if we now compare the, excuse me, the 2020 results, which were prior to the pandemic, to 2021 results, there has been an increase to digital contact like email or text message as the preferred communication choice. 54% in 2020 versus 69% in 2021. Letter mail is also down 17% since 2020, which also indicates a desire for digital contact methods. But do we connect with these customers in a way that encourages payment? Customers with past due accounts often encounter outdated and impersonal collection practices, including automated calls and letters. These approaches usually end up being unproductive and tone deaf, particularly in today's climate when many past due customers simply don't have the ability to make payments and may be behind on bills for the first time and need some understanding, some guidance, and some options. In fact, 67% of the respondents stated that when contacted by phone about a past due bill, the agent with whom they spoke was not empathetic or understanding. More than ever, past due customers need empathy, especially in this climate. Showing empathy can come in the form of providing personalized digital reminders. There's a common misconception that past due customers don't want to pay their bills or are not responsible, but that simply isn't true. Like I said before, the main reason is because they didn't have the money. They want customer care teams to understand their personal financial situations and want messages that empathize with their situation. In fact, 82% of respondents stated that they would be more likely to pay their bills if the message was more personal and understanding. Like the 22% of respondents who said they simply forgot to make a payment, digital reminders can serve as a gentle nudge and remind them of their past due account and how to settle it. Let's look at an example of an email and how it can play a factor in encouraging payments. We surveyed utility customers to review the look of this email reminder to see if on a scale of 1 to 10, they would be more likely to pay after seeing it. So as you can see, the email, it's white labeled, it's the color of the utility company. We communicate with the customer by first name. It's a customized message according to their delinquency bucket, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. We asked utility customers what their likelihood to pay would be on a scale to 1 to 10, 1 being extremely unlikely, and 10 being extremely likely. The average was 7.4 out of 10. Personalized and empathetic digital messaging encourages engagement, and it can also incite past due customers to self-cure. We define self-cure as the act of past due customers having easy access to flexible, self-service options to make payments and settle their account with minimal effort and without the need for agent intervention. And our survey results show that past due customers want an easy way to self-cure. Making payments online is the easiest way for past due customers to settle their account with minimal effort. Almost 80% of past due customers prefer to pay their bills online in 2020, and that percentage remains the same in 2021. Additionally, our survey showed that as a result of the pandemic, and given the push for companies and government officials for cashless transactions, more than 80% of the respondents stated they were more likely to make payments through digital channels. But if past due customers can't make payment in full on their past due accounts, what kind of options would they want? This brings us to our next poll question. We asked, in your opinion, what type of flexible payment options are most important to past due customers? We're 50-50 making a payment arrangement, making a minimum payment to show good faith. Wow. Payment arrangement and minimum payments. So overwhelmingly, 57% want the option of making a payment arrangement, and 26% want to be able to make a minimum payment. That's great. Now, what about utility customers? Utility customers want flexible repayment option as well. If they can't pay in full on past due bills, 62% want to make a payment arrangement, and 25% want the option to make a minimum payment. Now, knowing what options past due customers want, what is the reality of what they are getting now? As you can see, there seems to be a disconnect between what customers expect and need when they are past due and what companies are currently providing. Digital payment options are available, but what about how customers want to be contacted? Right, 69 versus 23. Past due customers want to be contacted through digital channels in a gentle and empathetic tone. They also want to pay their past due accounts online and sometimes require flexible payment options. So there is a disconnect of what they want versus what they're getting now. So how can we adapt quickly to all of this and meet their needs? In today's world, having self-service options in place for past due customers lets you divert low-risk accounts, allow customers to self-cure, and alleviate contact with customer care agents. A self-service payment portal provides an all-in-one solution that helps past due customers settle their accounts with ease. Encompassing several unique features, the portal lets customers navigate the past due journey on their terms. And it begins with a friendly digital reminder. Prior to being guided to the portal, past due customers are sent personalized, friendly digital payment reminders via email or SMS that explains their past due amount and provides them with simple options to encourage them to act right away. Sending out a friendly digital reminder with the right tone and messaging can allow companies to rectify the situation without damaging the customer relationship. When you have an important message to send to a customer, you want to make sure it gets delivered. Email and SMS reminders offer real-time tracking capability and allows you to gauge customer responsiveness. Email reminders are also completely white labeled with the company logo and a color, and it feels like an extension of the brand, which in turn helps build trust. Additionally, they are transmitted through the domain and URL of the company, of the utility company, let's say, removing phishing concerns. Digital reminders combined with self-service payment portal is the perfect tool to encourage self-cure. It empowers your past due customers to make payments online quickly and easily. They can do all on their own without an agent, a phone call, or having to log in. Here's what I mean. I think we can all agree that we want past due customers to be able to settle their accounts as soon as possible. Directly from the email, customers are guided to the self-service portal with a clear call to action. The portal offers secure login-free access, so past due customers can make payment without the need to enter login information. This allows for a faster, more efficient, and also eliminates any additional steps that may hurt conversion. While in the portal, customers are given multiple payment options to choose from. They can make a minimum payment, they pay in full, or make a payment arrangement. This feature is yet another benefit that allows past due customers to settle their accounts easily without agent intervention. When you give customers flexibility, you give them freedom to choose at their own pace of payment, which empowers them to self-cure. This is especially important considering the difficult economic situation caused by COVID-19. By offering flexible options, you help ease the financial burden of your customers, and ultimately you benefit from it. Once they choose an option that best suits their needs, they have to choose a payment method. Multiple payment method options are essential as financial situations vary with each past due customer. These options can include using a debit or credit card. This allows for flexibility and lets past due customers choose how they want to pay. So in short, a past due payment portal can help customers self-cure by offering one, personalized, friendly, digital payment reminders that encourages them to act right away. Two, a simple, easy to use payment portal that offers flexible payment options, methods to help ease the financial burden of your customers. And number three, a payment journey that can be completed in a few minutes, 100% online. The entire objective is to create a path of least resistance, so for customers to self-cure and encourage engagement. Lexop's self-service solution also offers additional proven benefits that help both your company and its past due customers. Our clients have reported an increase of 30% in team productivity because of the automation that Lexop provides. With the ability to contact thousands of past due customers digitally with email or SMS in a few minutes, agents can be allocated to handle past due accounts that are more complex and require additional attention. By empowering customers to self-cure, Lexop can alleviate some of the pressures from overwhelmed call centers. Additionally, providing a 24/7 online payment portal dedicated exclusively to the payment of outstanding balances will result in increased payments. Our solution has increased self-cure rates by 27% and helped them more than 2 million past due customers settle their accounts on their own. And this 27% is reached within 6 months. Our clients have also reported a 7x ROI in less than 6 months, and that's huge. They've also reported an 11% reduction in write-offs, which indicates better retention and more savings. Let's not forget that with all the automation that Lexop provides, your operational costs will be reduced significantly. 2021 presents an opportunity to change the past due customer experience. A positive, productive future in customer care lies in how companies treat their customers. The tools to change the customer experience are available, they just need to be implemented. With a better customer journey that includes digitizing contact with personalized payment reminders, flexible payment options, and an easy way to pay online, the customer experience will become more positive and seamless, providing transparency specific to each customer circumstance. Expectations in customer care have changed, and we must adapt to them rather. Thank you all for attending this webinar. I do appreciate it. If you have any questions about the study, what we do at Lexop, or if you want to access to our ebook with all the results or insights, here's my contact information. So I'm here at lexop.com. Next up, we will do the Q&A where I'll be answering a few of your questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amir, for that excellent presentation. You know, it's great to see past due customers looked at from a different lens, you know, and the ways to handle them with more care and empathy. I think if you give customers that flexibility to choose the way, you know, not only which they receive reminders, but how they can repay. Yeah, it's great to see that they can do that and help them self-cure. So we'll open up the floor to questions now. And please type them into the chat box as you see it on your screen, and we'll take them as we receive them. But in the meantime, you know, I'll get things started with you, Amir, here. Considering that electricity providers are often subject to payment moratoriums during the winter, what tactics do you believe are available for them to retrieve payment?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, the biggest leverage that let's say electricity or utility company can have is interrupt services, right? And in cold provinces in Canada, sometimes you have your moratorium on disconnection. So the only leverage that you have left and the only solution you have left is flexible payment solution so that you can retain that customer, right? And because your main argument is gone out the window. So in terms of allowing them to choose their payment arrangement, build it themselves, that is, I think, the main key, the main leverage that a company can have.
Great, thank you. Which key performance indicators, KPIs, do you believe are vital to optimizing collection objectives in the utility industry, and how can SaaS play a role in meeting those objectives?
I think the main things that you should think about, well, obviously the self-cure rate. That's one of the main KPIs to track, but also the engagement, right? So we're talking about email open rates, click-through rates, access to portal, customer satisfaction KPIs also amongst past due customers. That's important. They're just as important as current customers, right? It's just they have more expectations or more needs. So I think those are the main ones.
No, that's fair. I mean, I think it's, you know, it's more important, if equally, if not more important, to look after your current customers than you're, you know, acquiring new customers or looking at that. So,
that's right.
You know, that is definitely
retention is always easier than acquisition, right? So keeping them is an easier task.
100%. And given the current financial climate, in your opinion, where do you see the future of customer care in the electricity industry going?
I think that the future, at least for the next couple of years, because we have this massive backlog of receivables, past due receivables that are coming, especially with less government aid, empathy is the theme, the main theme, and bridging the gap between what customers want and what they get, right? As we spoke about today. So it's not just being nice on the phone, but if nobody answers his phone anymore, well, that empathy isn't translated well, right? So being empathetic through digital channels, grasping the person's attention with the right tone, and then helping them through that customer journey to self-cure. So that is, I think, the future.
Excellent. No, that's totally fair. So we'll give a couple of seconds to ask a couple more questions. If we don't get any come in, then we'll wrap up from here. Is there anything else that you'd want to leave our viewers with? Anything kind of last notes from here, Amir?
Well, we have a much more, as I mentioned, detailed study of all the results. So if you're interested, feel free to contact me, Amir at lexop.com, and we can dig into it a bit deeper. But no, that's it. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. This was fun.
That's great. I'm glad you were able to join us today on the sunny day. I think you know, we have that chance to kind of go out and enjoy the spring after a long winter. So that's great. Thanks for the answers and for the presentation. That brings today's session to a close. I'll leave you with a few closing comments. Please mark your calendars for our upcoming webinars and our conversation series. The next one is on Thursday, April the 8th. EDC, Export Development Canada, will be showing us how they can help connect to global opportunities in the electricity sector. So please join us for that. And on Thursday, April 22nd, Guidehouse will be joining us and presenting on asset management to asset investment planning. All of the CE's future events and webinars can be found in our monthly newsletter on current affairs, or you can go to the news and events section on our website, again, at electricity.ca. That's it for now. And in closing, I'd like to once again thank Lexop and Amir and all of you guys for joining us today. And that concludes today's webinar, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.